a struggle between the sexes, new hang-ups and old complexes. Now the question is, right in context, what shall be next? I've already seen. Today, when I look around in the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand while walking through times. I see fruits of our ambitions, figments of our imaginations, and I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally this land is not bountiful as it was, simply because in his quest for success, nothing stands in man's way. All rivers run dry, soon the birds will fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, I just wonder why, oh why. I see charity deplored, equal rights totally ignored, wisdom and ingenuity working in accord, simply to afford such inventions as thermonuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here? Prophets everywhere gaze upon the horizon and declare that judgment will come as the savage hands of unscrupulous men defile everything pass by. Time is running out as we eat and drink species at the brink of being extinct. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, South, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed, of course, this is the Monday edition of the Corridor Transformation. Your host, Locksmith, of course, Joshua wouldn't be with us tonight. He has to go, of course, early to bed in order to prepare for school tomorrow. But that being as it may, we have a bumper program for you, and I thought I would bring a guest tonight. He will introduce himself, but at the same time, I want to say that we pay homage, we pay gratitude, owing of gratitude, simply because he spearheaded, he was in charge of course, our registration for that 20,000 jobs right here at the MLIO facility, empowerment center, and I can tell you, he has a lot of course, experiences that he would want to share with us. I thought I should bring him tonight, and at the same time, of course, we will give some highlights as to what transpired. In fact, I better go there one time. Yeah, well, okay, well, we'll have to pause because somebody insists on getting in early, so of course we'll take the calls one time. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor transformation. Pleasant good night. Yes, man. Ah. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I'll treat with it. I'll treat with it. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else? That's it. All right. Okay. He wants to make an early appearance as opposed to give us some quality control. But let's hear what is happening here. I'm trying to get a video on, in fact, but I've not seen it coming on. But let me try again.
Are we the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where you gone. Anybody know where the hammer gone? Tell me where you gone. Can you tell me what's going on? Tell me where you gone. I want to know where the hammer gone. Tell me where you gone. Why you up and leave? Why you make me grieve? Hammer, tell me that. Why you do with that? Oh Lord, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more.
So you would observe in the background, of course, we have that video that we took of the people coming in and out of the facility. Of course, seeking jobs as we provided that facility free of charge, in spite of our challenges financially. Free of charge. I can tell you the people took advantage of it. In fact, I think let me bring in Mr. Damien, I know him as, to of course explain to you and he tell us about what Friday night's experience was in particular. In the meantime, of course, we'll play the video in the background to give you an appreciation as to how hectic the last week was in terms of registering these people, simply because we believe strongly that in these communities, people are not computer savvy, they don't have access, and then of course it's a big challenge to go up into the velodrome. We recognize that as a people and as an institution serving the people, East Port of Spain, Laventil, Beetham, etc. And we took on the responsibility to do what? To provide the service, because we believe strongly that just as the lotto, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance. And I also believe that in spite of the fact that you could be qualified as Einstein, if you're living in these parts, there is a challenge for you to get work. However, I believe in the present administration that is objective, that is not biased, and that will not, of course, engage in what I consider to be community or geographic discrimination outside of what the typical way they would describe or apply geographic discrimination. That being as it may, once again, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is the corridor transformation. Of course, in the background, you are seeing, of course, excerpts, or should I say, clips or clippings or a video of what transpired for the last week in terms of our own registration in furtherance and in support of the government's 20,000 job availability in the public sector. So without further ado, let me introduce, of course, Mr. Adrian. Pleasant good night and welcome, of course, to the Corridor Transformation Studios.
Pleasant good night, Lennox Smith, Honorable Lennox Smith. Pleasant good night, Trinidad and Tobago. All viewers, pleasant good night. Pleasant good night to Government of Trinidad and Tobago. Pleasant good night to the Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Ministers, doing a fantastic job. To those in Parliament, those out of Parliament, citizens, fellow Laventilians, that is important,
Yes, yes,
So,
and
yes,
East Port of Spainians.
East Port of Spain,
yes.
Everybody from the Gong Report family, as well as the Corridor Transformation family. Pleasant good night to you. fellow members of the executive of Love.
Yes.
Pleasant good night to you all also.
Yes,
Thanks
indeed.
for having me.
Well, of course, you had volunteered, of course, and we assigned, of course, a computer entirely to you for the purposes, specific purposes of assisting the government in these parts. I think I should turn it around to say that to assist the people of these parts to access a service or opportunities that is the purpose for which governments are elected. I'm not talking about just this government, but any government. And so, where there is a deficiency and the community sees the problem as we have always advocated, then we have a duty to get up and face the challenge and challenges, and that is what we did. So we made the facility available. We got to the website. We were able, of course, to follow the instructions, and so got people registered. It's against that background I thought I will ask Mr. Damien to, of course, give us his general view as to the days, and of course afterwards he can tell us what are the specific takeaways that he would have had from that experience, because I'm sure he would have had some days that would be different to other days, and therefore we'll be able to get an appreciation as to what is happening. But first and foremost, how many people actually came to the program? If you don't have the exact number, at least about how much?
We were able to send in applications apparently for approximately 350 applicants.
350. Wow, that's a long stretch, boy.
Over the period of the time.
Yeah. And that started when last week, Tuesday. Yeah, because Monday would have been a holiday, I think. Yeah, so we started Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 4 days of registration. Yeah, and to get 300 persons, it means therefore it's just below 100 persons a day. You could if you struggle it out, if you stretch it out.
At least I think 350 according to my estimation. So it's over the 100 a day.
Okay. All right.
I would start first by saying the drive by the government to fill the vacancies were admirable.
Okay.
A lot of vacancies, varying vacancies of different categories, daily paid as well as monthly paid. There were challenges I would observe from my initial examination. There were challenges to some individuals with their phones.
Oh, I see.
Accessing the job site to their phone, so one way or the other, and that way maybe damaged phones and that kind of thing. So they heard about the employment center, and they came to register. And there was sometimes I think as it became a little later, I think there were challenges on the site.
Yeah, so the website itself was giving some problems.
A little bit of problem, but we were able to troubleshoot, and I was able to get it done. And a lot of talent from the community came forward.
You were telling me, I think this morning, about someone that you were impressed about in terms of their qualification. Just tell us a little bit about that one.
Yes, a member of our community here, his daughter, I think, recently graduated, and I was able to send the application in as a psychiatrist.
Wow, psychiatrist.
From these parts.
Right.
So we were able to send a psychiatrist through on the document.
Yeah, and some of the more common and regular ones as well as the exceptional one, because that's an exception.
Yeah, that was an exceptional
what are some of the things that you recall in terms of generally, and then of course those that are not so let's say in terms of specialization, in terms of qualification that would require some kind of let's say university or just below tertiary education experience and exposure. Go ahead.
Yes. Some of well, I'll start with the lower levels, and more or less the daily paid levels.
Daily paid, right.
Yeah, under the daily paid levels, we were able to send in a couple of applications for tradesmen,
Uh-huh.
electricians, laborers, cooks, hospital assistants,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, both male and female.
All right.
There are a lot of women coming forward, showing dedication, showing interest. That was wonderful. A lot of members of the community came out and they were able to do that. Mid-level, we were able to do some clerks. One or two people asked for clerks.
Wow.
And more or less middle upper management, we saw a trend going towards not much, but more in the field of technicians.
All right.
You know, some technicians came, one or two technicians came, and I was able to send in the application on their behalf.
Great.
You know, so those were some of the views that we had. Besides the psychiatrist,
Mhm.
we were able to send in an application for a national footballer.
A
to work
national
with-
football as well.
to
Yes.
work with,
Yeah.
the-
In fact, that is separate and apart from the gentleman who came and he asked us for a recommendation. You remember that?
Yeah.
Because he organizes the football and other sporting events
Yeah.
along the corridor.
yeah.
And I think he got an opportunity to the sports ministry, and we were able, of course, to assist him with respect to that.
Yeah.
Well, he came back, I think, a couple of days. That was before the registration started. Talking about the week before that, and he came back and he thanked us and said that well, no, without that he wasn't able to make it. But he's now, of course, a happy person, gaining a regular salary, and of course he cannot wait to get his first salary. Of course he came to say, well, you know, I had to attire myself in a particular way, because you know how these young boys generally would attire themselves in these parts. So I was able to, of course, dip my hand in my pocket and assist him with a shoe, and of course he went down the road, he bring back the shoe to show me that he bought it and all of that. So that kind of motivation, that kind of experience is things that we would like to see duplicated throughout the community. Every single person, except of course when they are mentally or physically challenged, or they, I think the term these days they use is differently abled. But whatever it is, the fact of the matter is that once your faculties are there, you must be able to do something that is constructive in your own interest, in your family's interest, and your community interest. And that is what we have brought to this community in terms of an organization that cares, that is committed. You see, there have been many or too many instances where you go to Scotland or one of these parliamentarians, and they're so full of themselves, they wouldn't take the time and things that they could do in an hour's time. Maybe give a recommendation, pick up the phone and make a call because somebody may be searching for a job and they simply want somebody who can articulate and to maybe verify that that person is bona fide. All of those things, those nuances, leaders have to be committed to and always on the lookout for opportunities so that if everybody is employed gainfully, if everybody has something to do, if everybody can, of course, earn and put food on their table and mind their children and, of course, pay their rents and the usual bills that is common to all of us in a contemporary modern society, certainly we would have done not just the will of God, but we would have done justice to making certain that the quality of life, standard of living, and the expectations of people are realized. In that vein, of course, some of them, where the addresses would have been, so because I know you would have had to put in addresses and all that, let's get a sense as to where they would have come from.
Couple of addresses to put in were Laventil, Prosperty Street,
All right.
Picton, did a couple from Belmont, varying parts of East Dry River, varying parts of each driver. We got a couple from St. Paul Street
Right.
into applications, particularly targeting
Anything from
Housing.
Sealets, Beatum, anything from there?
we
or
had
very
about
few?
one or two,
from
not
there.
much, but we had one or two people who came from the BTM and so on.
Right.
I was able to upload most people's resume online with them,
Right.
to send in the documents with them. They were multi-skilled. Most of the people are capable of doing the work that they applied for, and it was a
Right. So
challenging
it's-
experience,
yeah.
but understandable.
Yeah.
It
So
gave me
tell
a
me,
good side of
in terms of demographics, you give me. I got an indication already, but I'd just love to hear from you because you were directly in the center. You were ground zero. In terms of youth versus, let's say, middle-aged persons, I don't expect, of course, senior citizens to come to register, but certainly middle-aged, and of course the differential between male and female kind of thing. Could you give us an appreciation as to that kind of experience you would have encountered whilst doing that registration? Remember, of course, it was the registration last week, 4 days, right here at the center, free of charge. We provide that at the MLIO Empowerment Center. We have, of course, and we did that after the 28th of April. We set up that. In fact, I will show you a video where the minister in the Ministry of Housing, Philip Alexander, he came and cut the ribbon for the opening. So we have taken responsibility and I did say that during the elections. I did say that I am prepared to work for free for the incoming government, but I will never even contemplate that for the PNM. And you see, after the 28th, we have a transformation process already. This is just a microcosm, but as the government roll out its program, we will see how we can tap into and provide, of course, opportunity. In fact, I want to say that I got a correspondence today from the Minister of Social Development. I had discussion last week with, of course, the Minister of Labor, and you will understand why I am targeting, or we are targeting these ministers, because they provide have a portfolio that is important to communities such as these, whether it be people who fall through the crack, can't work or not yet have work, but they have responsibility for families and themselves, etc., that they put food on the table, and therefore we have a duty to guide them. And of course, in the case of the Minister of Labor, well, of course, it is about both, because he has NETCO under his portfolio as well. So we have, apart from looking for work, whether it be foreign or local, but also we believe that we must encourage people to become entrepreneurs, so they themselves will employ not only themselves and possibly their family, but certainly others, and so create the conditions, as I said, where people can feel comfortable and not feel as second-class citizens, and can push their hands in their pockets and go and be independent and purchase what they want, within, of course, the constraints that they would have in terms of the amount of monies that are available to them. The other area I would want to challenge to tell us in terms of your experience, we have very early provided free internet to the immediate and maybe not too distant community. Immediate community, if we go outside right now, you'll see young people outside utilizing that facility. We pay for it. There's a cost. But we realize that in a society or in a community, generally like Trinidad and Tobago, but more specifically in these parts, whilst people may be anxious to edify themselves, and some, of course, you will have abuse, I have no doubt in my mind, but you have to feel comforted that with the presence of such facilities, people can become more educated, we can democratize the place, information flow is greater, they will have more knowledge, and therefore will make, of course, we hope, hopefully at the end of the day, positive and far-reaching decisions in their own interest. And so we are providing, of course, free internet. Yes, nowhere else. Nowhere else has done that. Nowhere else, no way. And we are in a position, the least, to provide such a facility, because I can't afford it. But of course, I want to thank all those good Samaritans and those benefactors that from week to week, from the time my head hot man, I say I have an internet bill to pay, I must get somebody, of course, to run to come to our rescue, because really it's the rescuing of those young people out there that I could use my internet and done with that. But we have to be able to broaden and to deepen and to provide the experiences. So I say all that to ask you, to what extent as the free internet, because I saw them when they came in, some of them would have already, I think, had tried to register, but they couldn't access their information because they didn't have data and so on. To what extent the free internet for the immediate and wider community assisted you and assisted the applicants in, of course, reaching that number. I mean, that's a fantastic number, 250 in such a short space of time.
It was a wonderful idea. It was actually the backbone of the operation.
Okay.
Yeah, because with the internet access, they were able to access through their phone.
Through their phones,
and their device, some of them, the tablets, they were able to access the information, where when I filled out the application on their behalf, they were able to attach the resume and other documents, certificates to accompany. Thereby, I believe,
and
giving them the best
to complete the registration exercise.
process, yes,
Right,
in the most capable way. So that was very important. The key factor was that we were able to get it done through that initiative. So it was really the backbone of that.
Yes,
Without
indeed.
that,
You don't think we would have been as successful as we would have liked?
Yeah,
because we alone here would have had, incidentally, people, we have two providers. We have a provider for the wider community, and we have a cable system for the nightly. And of course, that came through experience, because remember at one time, boy, I used to catch my Aunt Nenen and everything else to try to get on, because everybody in the house was using it. And then, of course, we were advised to, of course, get a cable system. So we were able to put in a cable system, and so the cable is dedicated. Nobody knows, except, of course, those of us who supposed to be in the know, knows the code or the password. But, of course, out there, with respect to the public, if you want to call it the community internet, where we post up the password and how they can get connected all over the place. So people just walk by and they just stand up by the posters and they just adjust their devices and they are on. Right now, as I said, just sign up by the car. I notice now some of them are parking up in front of the building, and they put on their air condition, and they of course enjoying their internet. So imagine if we were not here. Just imagine that. But we will go a little further. Tell me, what are some of the experiences that you would have had that you would like to share with the population, and of course with us at this time? Any special situation that you would want to indicate? What about, of course, you have clearly there are some people with reputation, such as bad boys, the people with reputation, female who may be appear to be unambitious, etc. Some of those kinds of experiences I'm talking about, because we need to be frank and we need, of course, to share, because at the end of the day, when they would have been called, because I'll tell you why we set up this, one of the other reasons why we set up this. There's another reason that I will share with you finally, but we want to give everybody an opportunity. That's the first and foremost. So those kinds of individuals and others that you may have encountered from time to time. People run back home to get water. They are right outside. They're right next door. Give me some of it. Give me some of it. The floor is yours.
Well, I would say that single mothers, mothers, women, a little more, were a little, took up a couple more applications.
Okay.
To do. They were a little more enthusiastic.
Okay.
A bit more than the males.
Okay.
However, the males, men were able to apply for, mostly applied within the Ministry of Housing, those portfolios.
Right.
Within the Ministry of Works, within WASA and TNTech, they were able to apply for those positions. The females mostly applied for things within the hospital, ward attendants, cooks, those kind of positions. Cleaners, definitely, cleaners. They had a lot in those things. I said most of them had their resumes online, so it was an easy process in terms of downloading and getting it to me.
Electronically.
That was critical. Yeah, so I was able to do a lot more.
What about those fellas that we may deem, if you have seen any of them? Because I saw a couple of them. Whilst I was on radio, whilst I was in ground report, I saw a couple of them coming that is well known. So I know that if you see them on the street, talk about people out there, you may not know them, but we will know them because we would have had some experience and we would have had some engagements. So we know. So tell me, those kinds of young men in particular who you would see on the block and so on, what's the situation with them?
They were much willing and much very interested in employment. As I said earlier on, works and transport and housing seem to capture.
That is where they would want to go.
Yes,
that's the ministries that they're attracted to.
They were attracted to that. Within the ministry,
those opportunities in those ministries.
Yes, they were attracted to those opportunities, especially housing. I think housing is the number one spot.
Well, people, of course, let's face it, there's a reason for that. That is what they know. And housing, of course, is just down the road at the bottom of George Street. So you see the nexus and why they're interested, because they could simply walk down the road and go to work. And, of course, many of them live in HGC facilities. So their friends and family members may well be, of course, employed there. And this is, as I've always said, a concrete jungle. So it is different from, let's say, the young person's experience in Guayagayari or Mayaro or some rural community. These are concrete jungles. And there is a sociological and philosophical backbone for saying so, but I wouldn't go there. Tonight is not that. Tonight is just to ask Damien of his experience and to thank him and, of course, his team for doing such a wonderful job at in such a short space of time. Another area I would like you, because you would have been exposed, you would have seen, in you don't have to call any particular name, but what I would like to find out, because a fellow like me cannot help observing the amount of persons that would have had, let's say, their CXC passes. Could you give me an assessment? Because I mean, all those resumes would have passed through your hands. You would have seen them. You and the team. What is the ratio? What is the preponderance, or what is the amount, if you want to call that? You could respond to it in any way, whether out of 10, out of 100, whatever it is, so that we have an appreciation. Because there's a point I am making in this, why I'm asking him that. We ain't minding anybody business. We ain't calling any names. We just want to face reality. The reality of young people and the general community, and therefore that is one area, education, in other words. Very, very important. And from that observation, you'll be able to know the educational standards of the applicants that would have come to the center, and any center at all across the country. But we have the unique, we alone did it, saw the government needed help, and we of course responded with on our own volition, with our own resources. Go ahead, my friend.
Yes, most of the persons
Uh-huh.
at the employment center, who most of them, at least I would say 50% of them had the qualifications of 5 O levels.
Oh.
Yes, and most of them had them.
Right.
Who I came in contact with,
Right.
and the ones who didn't have them had vast experience.
Oh, I see.
The
I see.
experience, the years of experience was the determining factor. Most of them had over 10 to 15 years experience in whatever chosen field they were drawn to
Right,
based
great.
on the application.
And before I go further, what about those that, let's say, in their teens, 18 of course, because it's only 18s and over could have registered anyway. So those 18 meaning that they're not too long out of school, and let's say around 20, 25 kind of thing. What is the situation there in terms of the younger ones or the young ones coming to you with their certificate, and what kind of qualification alternatively? Go ahead.
Yes, most of them around that age bracket
Yeah.
did come with the qualifications, and they were able to go through the process smoothly, transparently, quite
Okay.
easy, and there wasn't too much of a problem around that age. That's the
Oh, right, okay, right. So
that
they-
generation was
so-
able to use
Right.
the computer and things quite easy and
Yeah, because I
to-
saw
to-
some of them keying in their own information.
Yeah.
And I said, well, fantastic. And so you were getting help there.
Yeah.
And they were, of course, let's say, from one volunteer to another.
Yeah.
Because, of course, whilst you volunteered, you had some people volunteering to assist
Assist
you.
you. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah. So
yes.
that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Why am I focusing there, people? You see, I want two lessons for the national and the national community. That there are very skilled persons in these communities, 1. 2, that they are equally qualified as well. They made use of their educational opportunities. Yes, there are those, even in that may gravitate to gang warfare, etc., and may be part of gangs and part of what I consider to be subterranean culture, the culture that the society fears and, of course, dislike. But the fact is that they went to school and they learn. They come out with their certificate, 5 CXC, etc., or less, but they come out with certificates. And that, to me, is important, because too often, on the basis of address, they don't get work. If they only go and say that they're from Beetham or Laventille or Picton or East Port of Spain or Nelson Street, no work. And I want to tell you that right here in Port of Spain, Charlotte Street is the next street going west of us here. So we are east of Charlotte Street, but the next street is George Street. So we are on George Street. Even that address is an impediment to get work that they rightfully should get. Or put another way, a businessman will feel more comfortable to have somebody close by to, of course, come on time all the time, and maybe give them, well, I wouldn't go there, but give them the opportunity to work, because they would be familiar with the background and the fact that this is not well-to-do, or put another way, it is a downtrodden community, and so opportunity should be given. But we find that there is a lot of skepticism, a lot of doubt. We could write 10 nice resume and give them 15 good recommendations. And I want that to stop. I am saying so because we have a responsibility to make an intervention to have it stopped. And there are socio-economic and psycho-cultural, what I consider prerequisites to making it happen. I'm sure that you would have heard me on the ground report and on the corridor talking about institutional knowledge. And institutional here, I refer to, of course, special knowledge that is unique to you. And when other people try to usurp that by pretending that they know, they make not just a mockery, but they create, if there was already a disaster, further disaster. You see, I believe in the concept. I heard it from Dr. Ramesh Diosaran first about the whole question, and I did, of course, at the seminar that was held by the Honorable now Prime Minister, but opposition leader then, when she was looking for solutions to crime, and I had an opportunity to make a presentation at the Missouri Community Center in Mova. I did speak about psychological and social capital. Let me repeat. Social and psychological capital. What does that mean? It means the price that the society must pay, or put another way, the investment the society must pay to keep the peace. Very simple. Social and psychological capital. The money, if you want to call that, the investment, if you want to call that, the expertise, if you want to call that, the interventions, if you want to call it that the society must engage in to keep the peace. Very, 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 very important. We'll elaborate a little more on that. But I told you earlier that I wanted, of course, I had a particular reason why I asked Mr. Damien for the situation with young people, the demographics, and the qualifications. You see, there are two things I want you to know. And right here at the center, we will start our CXC and assistance to C students as well program very soon. Very soon. But there's another factor that I believe we should bring to our consciousness when we talk about these young people. You see, they too have an experience. They too have a community. They too have interactions with themselves as peers and with elders and with, of course, the persons who from time to time they may consider to be in the upper echelons of the society that they are yet to enter but have admiration for. And so it is important that we give them the opportunity. And so the Empowerment Center is engaged in that kind of activity. That's the purpose. That is the raison d'etre for the deployment and the creation and the interventions that we seek. So I thought it was important, of course, to treat with that as a final aspect of this particular exercise that we would like to share with you. Of course, the line is open, 337-6940. I know that the system line is on, but my phone may give some problems, so Mr. Tagariga may have some challenges tonight. I know that he's an education man, etc., and will want, of course, to quiz us, will want to interrogate Mr. Damien here. But the line is open, and we will take your calls at this point in time, 337-6940, 337-6940, as we continue, of course, with this particular aspect of our daily and nightly efforts to edify and to, of course, bring some kind of respite to the east-west corridor. But Damian, you have said a lot, but I want to find out from you. Did you ever think that, or have you had any previous experience where such a large number of persons from a community like this, the immediate one, Nelson Street, Duncan Street, so on, so on, so on, you would have that one-on-one encounter with them? How it felt? Were you intimidated? Were you enthused? Were you sort of between a rock and a hard place? What was the emotions that were going through your mind when you were engaging, and would you do it again? Go ahead.
Well, I'll answer the last question first.
Yes.
Very good question. I'll answer the last one first. I would do it again.
Right.
And the process was very easy, very simple.
All right.
There weren't any challenges at all. I would like to say that there was, as a matter of fact, there was a lot of enthusiasm
Okay.
to get the job done. I believe, based on my observations, the community is quite willing, ready, and able to assist the government with whatever plans they come out, they roll out with.
Okay.
Whether it be URP, CPEP, whatever it is, HDC, painting of the buildings, electrical work, issues that they may have on the ground, I think the community is quite ready and willing to assist. Just waiting on the go.
Yeah.
So that seems to be my observation.
Yeah. And I know this is also a political. The decision is a political one, and therefore the political will must be in concomitant with the policy and program. So this is what this is all about. But of course, the opposition and senior people in the opposition, Mr. Imsworth, for example, he said that, and I saw an article where the PNM in their opposition to the budget did say that this entire exercise is a fake. It is unrealistic. It will not, of course, go anywhere. That is my interpretation of such a statement. I think there were 8 areas. Better pull it up just for discussion's sake. But in terms of the enthusiasm and the trust and the effort made to come out and to put their resumes together and to have an encounter and to give their private information to a stranger on the basis that the possibility that they will get one of those 20,000 jobs, and of course on other rollouts that will come in the future. What is your considered view on that? Of course, and base it on some of the comments you would have had. You had a close encounter with most of the applicants, and therefore you, better than me, you would have had, of course, a bullseye view, so to speak, as to what they have been saying in terms of their response and expectations. Go ahead.
Okay. That's a good question, definitely. Based on the claims being made by the opposition, it doesn't confirm or it doesn't match what I have seen on the ground.
Okay.
It's a totally different view. I have seen a lot of people, a lot of enthusiastic people, and a lot of willingness to come out and be employed and to get things done. I think they're eager right now. Yeah, a lot of
So the
eagerness.
optimism is at a peak,
At
or
a
nearing
peak.
a peak.
And
All right.
I think that augurs well for the public service.
for the public service.
It augurs well for the public service. The government is put on in that department. Hit the nail on the head.
Okay. Well, I've pulled it up. The opposition is saying that the landlord tax is, and I heard Imswood is saying that that is equal to property tax. I don't know how. And has the audacity to say, well, okay, they put the landlord tax as at 3%, and their property tax was at 2%. But somehow he reaches the point where, and I think that's where I believe that they have gone stark mad, or they're in a state of what I consider cognitive and intellectual and cerebral decline. Because here it is, he's saying now that because theirs were 2%, and the present government's landlord tax is 3%, then of course the tax itself will be passed on to tenants, and somehow for Imswood that is a cardinal sin, without recognizing, oblivious to the fact that at minimum the same thing applies to property tax, but worse, because property tax does not target only landlords. It attacks everyone that own property.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your view? Can you rationalize that? Can you reconcile that level of what I consider to be diatribal hogwash?
Clear cut. Confusing is a lot, is what I would say was the answer to that by Imswood. Definitely, he didn't seem to have thought it out well, right? He didn't seem to have thought it out well.
All right.
I'm confused by the statement made. A bit confused by the statement made.
Yeah, I think you want to say something and have something to say, or believe that they must say, and because they got a mic in the face, they simply have that kind of what I consider to be a verbal laxative that they take, and therefore they defecate all over themselves.
However, what I would say, what I would say is, what I see it as, is the government putting the building blocks in place to have the capacity within the public sector to deal with the issues of the private sector.
All right, okay, and therefore the general population.
And the general population.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have people, a shortage of police officers, a shortage of fire officers, a shortage of customs officers, a shortage of teachers, a shortage of nurses, a shortage of doctors, a shortage of lawyers. And the shortages go on and on. Thus, of course, the 20,000 vacancies.
Yeah.
Then it means, therefore, you really and truly are selling yourself short, claiming to be government and facilitating, but at the same time you can't deliver. So you're saying that the government is putting itself in a position where it can deliver because it has the human resource capacity
and the building
and
know-how,
in order to make it up.
Yeah, because I mean that would be the watchword of the last 10 years. Sure.
Yeah. I hear you, yeah, because the last government wasn't. In fact, the mandate was, or the edict was, to, of course, not employ anyone in the public sector. However, they were giving people contracts that the result of which was really for them to be beholden to them, so that there is always some sleazy or some clandestine agenda to make them dependent on them and therefore beholding, and so they go to the polls and automatically consider them as electable. But we saw on the 28th of April the population didn't see it as how the PNM had orchestrated it. That being as of course the other area. Let me just read out the entire one. So landlord tax, they say that of course a tax on single-use plastics, they tackle that as well. They tackle of course a broken housing promise. They also said that cuts to youth and in education programs. They said that the national recruitment fair is a hoodwink. So that's how they describe it. That recruitment that you were part of, they say that you were part of hoodwinking people. That is what the opposition said, people. Yes, penny and day. And yes, indeed, of course, and then you have the fiscal manipulation alleged. So fiscal manipulation, meaning that, of course, taxes as well as revenue and, of course, and the source of revenue, they're saying that, of course, that is manipulation. I suppose the example would have been the landlord tax as rationalized by Imbud. No money for promised increases. So no money for promised increases. Well, you know that is the public servants, and that 10%. I know you were at one time attached to or would have had a quasi public sector work or job. So we're going to come back to that. And then the last one, of course, is lack of vision. When I want to know, it is said that in blind man country, in blind man land, one-eyed man is king. You know what I say? I say that in blind man country, one-eyed man is king. Well, what would you say when in blind man country, no man has an eye? Everybody blind, in other words. Well, that is the PNM. Everybody blind. So, whilst, of course, you could have said that during the course of the reign between 2015 and the 28th of April 2025, you certainly have to say today that, of course, in blind man country, when everybody is blind, then, of course, you have the disaster that is the 12+1 that is occupying the opposition bench today. But let us get back, of course, to no money for promised increases. That is, of course, to deal with public sector, 10%. They wanted to see some kind of indication monetarily in the budget. That was not done because, of course, the Minister of Finance, I think, very competently and very rationally and very consciously said, well, we cannot talk that as yet. We cannot anticipate because you don't know where you're going. You could begin at 10, but you may end up at 11, as the case may be. I know there's no downward, but certainly in terms of upwards, and therefore there were other, I think, public sector trade unions, such as the teachers' union, that accepted, I think, the 4 or 5% at one point in time for a particular period. All of that, and therefore people are expecting back pay. I suppose I cannot see that happening for Christmas, even though, of course, the negotiations have started immediately when the budget would have been read. I think about the Thursday after the budget was read, the budget usually read on a Monday, and by Wednesday, Thursday, discussions was taking place with, of course, the CPO, the chief personnel officer, whose responsibility it is to negotiate with, of course, public sector worker representatives. Go ahead. What's your view? Again, of course, the line is open, people, and I know that people may be calling my phone, but my phone is dead. Yeah, so you have to find a way to get onto the system itself, because Mr. Faizabad called earlier, so I know that the system is working, but my phone is totally dead. So I'll have to find a way to get another phone to keep specifically for the program, because this has been happening too often now. All right? So my apology for those who are unable to get me on my phone, because absolutely dead. I went out this evening and tried to get in. Oh, but maybe you can call on the other number that is there, 336-6594. Call on that number for tonight, because, you know, we have that number dedicated for a particular reason. That I'm getting some indication that number, that phone has very little juice as well. So we are in a quandary here. All right, let me see if we can assist each other here. All right. So they asked me to give it some charge. All right. You'll be all right there? All right. You're not getting charged? Oh my goodness. So we have the other number that we are looking at, people. All right, let's go to the line, sit and chance it. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Mr. San Fernando.
Yes, Mr. San Fernando, go ahead.
I was trying to get you at the 337 number all the time, but
We have a tragic state of affairs here that we will have to remedy. So hopefully tomorrow you won't have that problem.
Okay. Now, what I want to say tonight is that I want to begin by saying this about Mr. Imbert.
Yeah.
If a man is foolishly stuck, in his opinion,
Uh-huh.
you can't convince him otherwise. What do you do?
Oh yeah, boy. Yes. And he displayed that over and over. He said,
Over and over.
yeah.
No.
He said that there was an instant that I took mental note of when he said when he was strident. He said that daily paid workers were involved in involved in this new system that the government has introduced, the 20,000.
Uh-huh.
And he said, you're catering for them? He said, no, it doesn't happen like that. No, it's more. In other words, he is set in his ways, totally, of course, myopic, and lacking, of course, creativity and ingenuity, and believe that things should be done the way how the P&M know it to be done.
Yes.
I mean, it's just pathetic. But go ahead.
No, from the ARIMA public consultation that they had,
Uh-huh.
this man is the same man that Penelope Beckles wants to bring back into her cabinet, right? As finance minister, knowing full well that he has failed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I want to go even further. I have a book based on technology.
Mm-hmm.
In the opening chapter, I think it's either the first or the second chapter,
Mm-hmm.
talks about entrepreneurship.
Right.
Right now, in the past, people used to go for ice. Let's say before you had refrigerators,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would go and dig out the ice from wherever, and it was expensive to transfer it from that part to the wherever they was getting it from,
Yeah.
and bringing it into the for people to use as ice for the summer.
Right.
Right, but somebody find that this thing was too expensive and too, cumbersome to deal with.
Right.
So they tried, and eventually one person invented the refrigerator.
Right.
Now, when that was invented, right, he tried to sell it to people, and he tried to convince the big companies that they should get into it, because now you have a box which could make ice homemade.
Uh-huh.
And they rejected the guy, right? But he continued and he pushed it until today you have everybody have a refrigerator in the house.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that and the old way of doing things went out the door.
Yeah. I hear you. Just as the typewriter and the computer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that has become obsolete. Yes.
So we have no need really to use typewriters to type anything
That's right.
today. But even though the computer is much more faster and everything.
Oh yes. Much more versatile. Yes.
The typewriter would be an obsolete thing. So too would the input.
yeah, in a state of nostalgia, in a state of anachronism, in a state of obsolescence. I mean, these fellas sound Jurassic. the song as if they're in a Neanderthal world, caveman kind of approaches, and you would understand why Rowley had taken away, quite apart from other reasons, which is very pernicious and wicked and nasty, but certainly why Rowley felt comfortable to take away laptops from the children of this country.
Yeah. And now we can see even like I want to make a statement here, like what I should say, you inward passing down things to his let us say how you say it. Even with Brian Manning, right? When Brian Manning was asking that stupid question about the insurance of vehicles.
No, yeah, boy. I mean, that was a total dunderhead, boy. Obtuse to the core. But go ahead.
And I will end by saying this. Even, and I'm going back to even with Keith Scotland, bicycle and coal pot.
yeah. So that's your mindset, but it's not for them, you know. Is obsolete talk because they have an orifice on the lower part of their face that they simply abuse. But line their pockets. They want the best. They wanted the best that the technology could offer, but it's not for the ordinary person. Their elitist agenda will not have you, if once they are in office, have you benefit or enjoy those kinds of modern conveniences.
Right, so I will leave it there for tonight.
All right.
Right? And I will call back on another night.
Appreciate that. I appreciate your tenacity. People, of course, well, you would have noticed that the number that you have to call tonight, if you really are determined, and you normally will get me on the phone. This is a phone that we use in the studio. This is Anne-Marie Reilly phone. Annie phone, of course, and you've seen it on the screen here, 336-6594. Call that number if you normally will get me on the phone. If not, of course, I think the system is operating. Let me make sure and check again, because Mr. Faizabad called earlier and it was up and running. I don't know if it has been right. Oh, yeah, it's there. It has not been affected in any way. So as far as I see, to avoid, of course, you getting into us. Of course, let me check the time to make sure. What's the time we have there? That's it?
20 past 9.
20 past 9? All right, so we have about 10 more minutes to, of course, extrapolate. Well, you heard some of the discussions that the caller from San Fernando would have raised, the whole question of obsolescence, the whole question of lack of creativity, the whole question of stepping out of the box, inability by, of course, those persons who had government amazingly for 9 years. I studied where Trinidad and Tobago was, and what would the thinking for having these people who clearly have lost their way, were never ready, as was being touted in their early dispensation, and have wreaked havoc on Trinidad and Tobago. But while I don't want to get you into the politics, but this is a political program, 1 and 2. I mean, that is the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today, and therefore we have to face it. Go ahead, my friend. I don't know what comment you want to make.
A nightmare and a day in one.
A nightmare and a day. I like that. There's only a Trinidadian can put that combination together. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the issues, I want to talk about the positive side.
All right.
Definitely looking on the positive side. I have observed a form of project management in the government by aligning.
In the present government?
Yes, in the present government, by aligning certain ministries to avoid a lot of red tape and confusion. And
okay.
You know, there was alignment, and the Honorable Prime Minister, and he saw that.
Right.
And I think this drive fits perfectly into that cohesion
Okay.
to get things done. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, it is the building blocks, that key building blocks. I definitely see a change within the new employees, bringing new dynamism, new technology, new know-how, and ability from the private sector into this new
and
system
the
of the
PNM
government
opposition
has
seem
tap
to
into.
not just that, but seem to acknowledge they appear to have on blinders, and therefore what they have grown accustomed to and have exhibited for government and governance, they believe that is clearly from what Imbert would have said during the debate, and of course the debate on the budget, and of course during the Standing Finance Committee, that is not the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Every single opportunity he got to say that is how to, because he has convinced himself that the way that they have mismanaged, that is how government should run, and there should be some element of mismanagement. Notice how long they took to get things like the procurement legislation enacted, and even when that happened, they then of course watered it down by saying that they in government, they in the cabinet must not be subjected to procurement under certain conditions. I mean, that's a piece of madness, and never was the PNM interested in liberalizing the society or further democratizing the society, and of course dealing with the inequalities that the society have evolved over the years into accepting or creating, such as of course the Equal Opportunities Commission. It was another government that came in to of course equalize, and to say that on the basis of texture of hair and color of skin you cannot give a man a job because of that. It has to be based on qualification, objectivity, and of course the Integrity in Public Life Act, that too was not a creation of the PNM. Always some other to try to equalize or generate the equity and the fairness and the distribution of opportunities in a fair and transparent manner. The PNM was never on that. They were always, that is why they are against PI as a form of government in this country. Are talking about, of course, that form of government where you have various interest groups finding themselves in the parliament to share the decision-making process. They believe in dictatorship, democratic dictatorship. That is what they believe in, and not, of course, in proportional PR. It is said proportional representation. They don't believe in that, and they were mortally afraid and mortally resistant when that form was introduced by the UNC before the 2015 general elections in the local government system, even though they have benefited handsomely by getting, of course, alderman in circumstances where they may not have gotten any at all. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion must be that PNM fear we cannot absorb. PNM fear we cannot absorb because they believe that they are on the march if the nonsense that they speak and the shambolic state, the chaotic state of managing the affairs when they got opportunities is the best thing because it worked for them, while of course the country go to hell in a gasoline-soaked paper bag. Gasoline-soaked paper bag. Once again, of course, the number to call tonight, we'll have to make some adjustments at 337 65 65 94 65 94. Call that number. We'll take it on the phone. It's the only phone that has 6594. Yes, that has of course juice in it. That has current in it. That we can communicate with. My phone, of course, the 337-6940 is unfortunately, I wouldn't say dead, but certainly I would say indisposed at this time. Any closing remarks that you will on? Because I mean, what's the time now? We should be out of here in half past. How much time we have again?
About 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. We have in 2 minutes time. Could you give us your overall now assessment as to your own expectations, and you could carry it anywhere. I'll give you the leeway because I think, and let me say publicly, that we thank you tremendously for leading that initiative for us. I don't think we could have desired a better person, and I don't think we could have done it without a person with your level of not just experience but knowledge and determination, right? So having said that, let me hear what issue you want to raise surrounding your experience over that 4 days or otherwise. Except, of course, I would like you to touch on the fact that what caused you to go up to 12 o'clock Friday night? Why was that?
Definitely. I think they went, the website, Employee Kitty, went a bit over. They went a little after Friday night into Saturday morning, about the 2 hours.
Oh, extra. I see.
I think the site was open.
Yeah.
So we were here. We were waiting on anyone to come in. We gave everybody a fair opportunity.
10, 11, 12 in the night?
Yes, yeah.
Boy, that is patience like Joe, boy.
Yeah.
And that is commitment like, I mean, bamboo in a wild state. Bamboo growing in a wild state. Yeah, because 12 o'clock in the night.
Yeah.
Yes, people, I want to say that I was here. I forewent, if you want to call it that, Espargos. I didn't go and sweat because that is the level of commitment. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. But when there is responsibility, you do not allow yourself to be like the sentry. I talk about the guard. Rain falls, he's supposed to monitor the reservoir and the levels and to allow water to flow as the reservoir becomes higher and higher. But he was sleeping on the job, and the entire dam burst and flooded, of course, the village below. So it is that philosophical and what I consider to be analogy that we take on board. So I'd say it's just one night, so why not one Friday? There are other Fridays. This Friday is unique. We want to encourage as much people as possible to come and register. Some were getting difficulties, some had difficulties, some did it on their own and couldn't have it sent because of some challenge that they would have had with the technology or with the site. We were here beyond 12 o'clock, Friday night, last day, to, of course, assist. So go ahead. I want to hear what was in your mind when we had to stay here. And, of course, as the leader, I had to, of course, show that I, too, am prepared, of course, to make the sacrifice. Go ahead.
I wanted to present to the best candidates and the most applicable candidates. Sometimes it's not only about qualifications, but it's about experience, know-how, and commitment.
All right.
You know, commitment. Commitment display a lot in employment and the way you approach things. I think I'm quite optimistic that a couple people that we recommended would be employed. I saw the attitude in them to come and get going.
Okay.
And I saw the dedication in them. So I'm quite happy to be a part of that. I know they will be capable, they'll be good employees. I think a lot of know-how would come to the government in terms of the way how things have been going, and you will see a change in the attitude of probably the average public servant in these new vacancies once they are filled. I'm quite sure of it. You'll see a change in the way Trinidad and Tobago does business. I'll echo the words of the Prime Minister. Trinidad and Tobago is open for business.
Right.
So you will see that level of commitment. I'm sure about it. So those are some of the takeaways
I share your optimistic.
And to be a part of that is.
Yeah, I share your optimism, my friend. I share your optimism. And I want to say this finally. That is what one of the things that I wanted to say, and I told you I will leave it for last. And that is, we did this with the hope, because as you know, love is part of the coalition of interests. But dedicated, of course, to the communities of the Laventis, the constituencies of the Laventis and East Port of Spain and surrounding. And I want to tell you, what we hope to achieve from this, ultimately, is that when the time comes for selection, when the time comes for interviews, we want to be, because of what we have done on our own volition, to be part and parcel of that opportunity to select our people and to make recommendations. Having come from the registration process, from, of course, our empowerment center right here on Drew Street. Whether we'll be successful or not, we believe that you better try and fail than fail to try. So we are going to damn well try. So that is one of the major benefits. So persons who would have registered, stay tuned. We have recorded every single one of them.
And have we? Yes, we have.
We recorded every single one of them. We put a database for that, 300 and something persons. And when they come to us and they said they didn't get through, or they are waiting, or they expect and did not get through, we are going to make some discrete calls, some discrete interventions. So we believe that once you settle the issues in these communities, a major part of the crime, the major part of poverty, the major part of those persons not doing well in school, a major part of the coalescing of families would have been solved. So you see how far we are thinking. We are not right here. Not like Rowley and Imsbert and the others. They are myopic. But we are vision oriented. And we are saying that we are seeing what could be and what must be futuristically. So, people, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's exercise. Of course, I don't know if you have some parting words that you would like to share with the listenership and the viewership. Our apology once again for the phone. I know that people were trying to get onto the phone, so something went wrong, but we have a job to do, and we have done it. Go ahead.
My parting words are simply, when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, history has shown that the influence of Laventil and the communities surrounding Laventil have played a great impact on the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And I think history will repeat itself again. I think definitely some of the individuals from this community or these communities would play a big interest in the development process of Trinidad and Tobago. I look forward to that. So stay tuned. That's all I can say. Stay tuned.
Right. Well said, my friend. Well said, my friend. But of course, we did put, of course, audio to that particular video that you're seeing in the back of us, playing whole night. So I'll want to, of course, engage in the audio part of it, so you get an appreciation as to our focus and why we are so adamant and so insistent that this part of Trinidad and Tobago can, as it did invent the steel pan, as we gave the country its national culture, steel band calypso, and we are poised once again with visionary leadership to do it in other fields. We can produce more latapis. We can produce more of the Gera, Theodore Gera, and we can produce, of course, people who have graced the highest offices in this country, whether it be politics, but I would like, of course, to particularly mention the late Clinton Bernard, who came from Duncan Street and eventually became the Chief Justice, one of the Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago. That is the vision. That is the possibility. That is where our minds, hearts, commitment, and dedication resides. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And see you tomorrow night. But before that, tomorrow morning on the Ground Report, Andy, Mikey, and myself.
Why you make me grieve? I'ma tell me flat. Somewhere up in Laventine, many years ago, a man had a hammer, used to follow him to and fro. He used to use it to pong a pan, or sometimes a stupid man, all in the savannah, never miss panorama. One day the old hammer just disappeared. Oh, some say that it vanished in the thin air. Are we the man with the hammer gone? Anybody know where the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Can you tell me what's going on? Tell me where he gone. I want to know where the hammer gone. Tell me where he gone. Why you up and leave? Why you make me grieve? Hammer, tell me that. Why you do with that? Oh Lord, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. From April of 85, Hammer went to sleep. After years of making noise, not even a peep. He used to move with the dragon man, all through the soca land, always on the scene. They used to control the Baba Green. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Who holding the hammer, I want to know. Are we the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Thunderbolt Williams, what going on? Tell me where he gone. This thing like a police boots on the con. Tell me where he gone. I know I hear by why the lima on phone. Tell me where he gone. Children, sit under your bed. All above your head. Look behind the door. What you waiting for? Oh Lord, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. No more, no more. Well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. On a silver chariot, riding to the sun, leaving fire in its wake, spirits on the run. As we gather round that day, I guess Sister Sheila say, how last night she see a sign, she see the hammer and it doing fine. Same time thunder roll, she ball out, you see? hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Sister Sheila, what going on? Tell me where he gone. This hammer giving we a heavy horn. Tell me where he gone. This thing like a police boots on me corn. Tell me where he gone. Search all through the tongue. Turn it upside down. Check on top the hill. On the windowsill. Oh Lord, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Tell them, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Tell them again, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Boomy down the bamba there, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. I say he don't walk the trail. I say he don't walk the trail. He don't walk the trail. He don't walk the trail, no. Well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. He don't walk the trail. He don't walk the trail. Somewhere up in Laventine, many years ago, a man had a hammer, used to follow him to and fro. He used to use it upon a pan, or sometimes a stupid man, all in the savannah, never miss panorama. One day the old hammer just disappeared. Oh, some say that it vanished into thin air. Away the man with the hammer gone. Tell me where he gone. Anybody know where the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Can you tell me what's going on? Tell me where he gone. I want to know where the hammer gone. Tell me where he gone. Why you up and leave? Why you make me grieve? Hammer, tell me that. Why you do with that? Oh Lord, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. From April of 85, Hammer went to sleep. After years of making noise, not even a peep. He used to move with the dragon man, all through the soca land. Always on the scene, they used to control the Baba Green. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Who holding the hammer, I want to know. How is the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Thunderbolt Williams, what going on? Tell me where he gone. This thing like a police boots on me corn. Tell me where he gone. I know I hear by why the lima and fawn. Tell me where he gone. Children, search under your bed. All above your head. Look behind the door. What you waiting for? Oh Lord, well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. No more. Well the dragon don't walk the trail no more. On a silver chariot, riding to the sun, leaving fire in its wake, spirits on the run. As we gather round that day, I hear Sister Sheila say, how last night she see a sign, she see the hammer and it doing fine. Same time thunder roll, she ball out, you see? He done start to tune up and already. Away the man with the hammer gone. Tell me where he gone. Sister Sheila, what going on? Tell me where he gone. This hammer giving we a heavy horn. Tell me where he gone. This thing like a police boots on me corn. Tell me where he gone. Search all through the tongue. Turn say he don't walk the trail. He don't walk the trail. He don't walk the trail, no, no. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. He don't walk the trail. He don't walk the trail. Somewhere up in Laventine, many years ago, a man had a hammer, used to follow him to and fro. He used to use it upon a pan, or sometimes a stupid man, all in the savannah, never miss panorama. One day the old hammer just disappeared. Oh, some say that it vanished into thin air. Are we the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Anybody know where the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Can you tell me what's going on? Tell me where he gone. I want to know where the hammer gone. Tell me where he gone. Why you up and leave? Trade. Why you make me grieve? Trade. Hammer tell me that. Trade. Why you do with that? Trade. Oh Lord. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. From April of 85, Hammer went to sleep. After years of making noise, not even a peep. He used to move with the dragon man, all through the soca land. Always on the scene, they used to control the Baba Green. Well, the dragon don't walk the trail no more. Who holding the hammer, I want to know. Are we the man with the hammer gone?